Computer Science and Statistics, the University of Rhode Island. In today's lesson, we're going to be configuring Windows Server 2012. Okay. So what are we going to be looking at as far as the agenda goes today? So today we're going to talk about the Windows Server Manager. We're going to talk about the Windows Server dashboard and what it has to offer. We're going to learn about the Server Manager menu bar. We're going to learn how to add servers to our server, which is a cool new functionality that the Windows Server 2012 has. We're going to learn how to name our server and configure our server's network adapter. All right. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Windows Server Manager. Okay. So in my virtual machine, okay, when I first launched my Windows Server 2012, similar to how you guys will launch it after using the OVA file that you will be using for this assignment, or a clean install. But for the assignment, you're going to need the OVA assignment. But if you want to test this on your own, you could actually use the clean install that I walked you through on how to set up. So if I hover to the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to notice this little briefcase, and it's going to say Server Manager. Before I go into that, let's talk about one of the new tools you will first see in your Windows Server 2012. Okay, so what is those new tools? Okay, so this tool will essentially change not only how you manage your local server, but all of the servers in your infrastructure. And this is known as the Server Manager. Okay. What's so cool about the Server Manager? Okay. In your Server Manager, you have what is known as your dashboard. In your dashboard, you see the status of all the servers in their respective installed roles. This is essentially designed to save you time and a lot of administrative effort. If the category roles and server groups is green, similar to what you see here at the bottom, then all systems are normal. If the category is red, then you must quickly, or you most likely, have some kind of issues. From the dashboard, you can quickly jump to the status of the roles by clicking on any one of these events to see. Then you'll be taken to a screen that will show you those events. So for example, if I double click here, you'll notice that there is a details screen that I can take a look at that will show me exactly what is happening and what is running here. Okay. So let's take a look at my local server that I currently have. So if I click on local server, you will notice that I currently only have one local server. Okay. So what are some of the things that I can do? As you can see, all the common tasks for server management are essentially listed right here for my local server, which is very different from the old traditional servers where you actually had to find a lot of those, right? So they have links that quickly allow you to manage those aspects, from changing the name of your server to configuring the IP address to a quick overview of the hardware. This central location allows you to quickly manage. Okay, so let's take a look at that, right? If I see right here, computer name, if I click on it, I can click on, it automatically brings up my system properties right here. I can click change. All right, and I can change the computer name from WinSJ, which is the generic name that the server creates. I can change this to, let's say, Digital Forensics. All right. So now when I click OK, it's going to ask me to restart, but my new server name is going to now be Digital Forensics versus a name that I didn't recognize at first. Okay, so that is how you can change your server name. So I selected to restart later because I didn't want to restart it now. You can also quickly configure your IP address in your server by changing your Ethernet 0. By default, I have an Ethernet 0. If I click on IPv4 address assigned by DHCP IPv6, it will bring up what is known as my network adapter. From here, I can right click on my network adapter, go to properties. All right. Since I am using IPv4, I would click on CCP/IPv4. I would go to properties, and right here, I can change my IP address from dynamic, which is automatically obtained, to static. So by selecting use the following IP, I'm saying I want to statically or manually assign the IP addresses that I want the server to use, because I do not want the IP address to change. But I'm going to have it updated automatically now because this is just the purpose of showing you how to do this. All right. Another way you can also change your server's IP address is by simply going to the bottom right-hand corner where your network adapter is showing, right-clicking on that and selecting Open Network and Sharing Center. Then you will get the Network and Sharing Center dialog box. From there, you can click on Change Adapter Settings, and it will again bring you to your Ethernet network adapter for your Windows server. So if I right-click on that and go to Properties, I will be able to change my IPv4 the same way that I did simply by using my dashboard. So as you can see, the dashboard really made a lot of these functionalities relatively easy to use. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's go back to the agenda to make sure we're staying on track. So we talked about our Windows Server dashboard. Let's talk about our Windows Server Manager menu bar, right? So the menu bar is one of the cool new functionalities that is also in your server that wasn't there before, right? So let's take a look at what I mean by that, all right? So the Server Manager menu bar provides three menus that offer the key to successfully managing your servers. The first menu, represented by the flag icon, is the Action Center, right? So this little flag icon is essentially my Action Center. So whenever an action needs to be taken, my Action Center is going to be what I would utilize. Okay, so if I click on the icon to display a list, I can click on that icon, to display a list of recent events, such as successful installation or additional steps that need to be taken after a role or installation might have been completed. The beauty about the action bar is it will also show you potential issues here that may occur or come up in your server. In our case, this is a clean, brand new server. So there really is no issues because I haven't really touched anything yet to, cause any damage or any issues to come up. Okay. From this menu, you can also add and remove server roles and features. Okay. So if I hover over to where it says manage, okay, from there I can add roles and features. So if I click on add roles and features, it will automatically bring my little add roles and features wizard bar where I can actually add servers, create a server group, or configure basic properties of the server manager. So if I click here, right, add roles and features, remove roles and features, add servers, create server group, or server manager properties. If I click on add servers, the beauty about adding servers is if I know that DNS of that server, so let's say I wanted to add uri.edu, right? If that was the server that I wanted to add, I can simply click that and it will bring up the IP address for URI. If I wanted to add google.com, right? Because that's the server that I want to add, right? It would bring up Google for me. So let's just stick to the uri.edu right now, right? And then it brings up the IP and I can add the edu for URI server and connect to it. Obviously, I don't have the privileges, so I would not be able to essentially do that, okay? You can also remove roles from this server. You can create groups, and you really can configure any basic property that you would like to configure in this server. So again, manage allows you to really manage a lot of these things, okay? So the last thing in your menu items is tools, okay? So tools is probably going to be one of your favorites, okay? So when you click on tools, you can click on tools to access all of the available administrative tools, right? Component services, computer management, defragment and optimize, event viewer, all of these different tools that we will be briefly talking about in computer networks and security. We won't go into too much detail about them, but introduce you to the basics of what they are. So with the server manager, you can really manage multiple servers, right? So this is how you kind of get to the tools. If I go to all servers, right, you will notice that I currently only have one server that exists in my server manager. That is because I didn't add any other server yet, okay? So if I had another server where I had administrative privileges on it or admin privileges, I can actually go in here and manually add those other servers using one of the three methods. I can add it via Active Directory. So let me go back to the tool, add servers. Okay. So I could add a server via Active Directory. I can add a server via DNS, or I can import an additional server if I wanted to add that server. And I just showed you how you can add one via DNS or Active Directory simply by using the computer name or the IP address of that computer. Okay. So that is how you can add a lot of those things. Lastly, not only can you add or remove roles and features from your server, you can also shut down your server using this little fancy schmancy shortcut menu, right? So if I go to manage, I can go to server, manager properties, and kind of really decide exactly what it is that I would like to do to my server. Okay. In addition to this, you can also connect to your server uh, manually to do a lot of cool things. All right. So let's take a look here at one more thing that I want to show you guys. And that's pretty much it on how you would really do a lot of those things that I am talking about on the server. So we talked about how to change your server name and how to change and configure the IP address, right? So in order for my computer name to take effect, since I just changed it, what I have to do is I have to um, restart my machine or my computer, because this uses a Windows 8 uh, interface. You want to be very careful because there really is no start menu. So if you recall how to use a Windows 8 interface works, you have to go to the bottom right hand corner. You're going to bring up your apps menu. So if you click on the logo with the user, you can log out or sign out as that user. If you hover to the top right hand corner of your screen, you will bring up all of the options that you can select from your Windows Server 2012. I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to click on power and restart. Whenever you restart your server, because typically when you set up a server, you never really shut it down or restart it unless it's a planned maintenance, planned update, or planned some kind of functionality that needs to happen. Since I'm configuring this server for the first time, what I am doing is a planned maintenance. Okay, so I'm going to call this a planned maintenance because I planned it. I changed the computer name and I want that to change. So I'm going to click continue and my server is going to restart so the server name can take effect. So that is how you configure some basic roles and functions in your Windows Server 2012.